This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you?
Welcome to Truman's Town Hall with your host, Matt Truman.
Hello, this is Matt Truman. Thank you for downloading this episode. Thank you for sharing with a friend. Today, we're going to do something a little different here on Truman's Town Hall. We're adding the weekend edition. During the week, we'll talk about the city of Heber Heights. During the weekend, we'll go over some of the things that have happened throughout the week across our country and, more importantly, our state, the state of Ohio. Now, I'll get to the state of Ohio, but what I just played was Greta Thunberg from Sweden delivering remarks at the UN Climate Summit. The UN Action Climate Summit. Sorry about that. Now, she did a really good job. Whether you agree that climate change is man-made or not, she delivered those remarks rather well, don't you think, for such a young girl? Huh? I thought so. I thought she delivered them very passionately. She delivered her opinion very passionately. That happened this week. She is now famous. She sailed from the other side of the ocean all the way over to the UN Climate Action Summit. Nothing else really happened today, or I'm going to end the podcast. No, wait. They are inquiring now to impeach President Trump. I'm not a Trump guy. I'm going to admit that to you right off the bat. I do not have the red mega hat. Don't have it. Never bought one. I don't have Trumpy Bear. You guys remember that commercial? Trumpy Bear. I don't have any of that stuff. If the vote were to happen today, I would probably vote for Tulsi Gabbard's. I like her. I think she's a pretty stand-up politician. She says a lot of things I like. A lot of things she says, there are some things she says that I don't like. But I do believe you're going to hear more from her, even though the DNC has already pushed her out because she, went against one of the heavy hitters over there, Kamala Harris from California. And we're going to talk about another California politician in a minute. But yeah, Tulsi Gabbard pushed her out of went off on Kamala Harris about all her dealings in San Fran, and then. What? They made her disappear, didn't they? But there are folks out there keeping her alive, keeping her campaign alive. Let's see if she gets on the next debate. So yeah, President Trump is going to be impeached. That's the talk from the one side, right? The other side is saying he did nothing wrong. It's a witch hunt. And yesterday, Adam Schiff from California, House Representative from California, delivered a story, if you will. He took what was known from what was given to the American people, the transcript from the call. And if you don't understand what is going on or you haven't been paying attention, we'll run it down a little bit. So, former Vice President Joe Biden admitted that he told the former Ukrainian president, or while he was in office as vice president, we're going to hold $1 billion of foreign aid, and the executive branch generally controls that foreign aid money, right? Well, we're going to hold this $1 billion of foreign aid unless you fire this prosecutor. Don't believe me?
I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, you're not getting $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid at the time.
So that was Vice President Joe Biden talking about this situation. We just now heard about it because the Democrats told us that President Trump was trying to withhold money in order to receive something in return. And that something in return, according to news sources and reports, is that President Trump wanted the Ukrainian president to begin to investigate Joe Biden. Now, the Democrats claim the only reason he was doing this is because Joe Biden is the front runner for the Democratic Party for president. However, there are news reports, there are news sources reporting that the reason Vice President Biden asked the president of Ukraine at the time, there's a new president now, but asked the president of Ukraine at the time to fire a prosecutor was because his son was being investigated by Ukraine. And that prosecutor was holding or, in charge of the investigation. So I think a lot of this, over the next few weeks and months, we're going to start to learn a little more. The transcript from the call between President Trump and the new president of Ukraine has been released. I'm not going to read it. Yesterday, Representative Adam Schiff from California delivered remarks opening up this investigation, trying to look into what President Trump did exactly. And what he said was this. And I'll you know what? I need to play the entire conversation. And I pulled this from a YouTube clip, so bear with me. All right? There may be like a commercial or something in between, and I apologize. That's not my doing. And I probably should have pulled it off, edited the commercial out, and anyway, I'm going to play it. It's like 7 minutes long. And what Adam Schiff says, when he talks about, and what is known after the fact, is that it's a parody. What he describes is a half-truth. He talks about some accurate information, but he adds in some of his own words. This Adam Schiff from California, adding in his own words to make it look worse than what it is. To sell who? The American people? His colleagues? Here it is. Adam Schiff from California delivering a remarkable opening to President Donald Trump's impeachment inquiry.
Yesterday, we were presented with the most graphic evidence yet that the President of the United States has betrayed his oath of office, betrayed his oath to defend our national security, and betrayed his oath to defend our Constitution. For yesterday, we were presented with a record of a call between the President of the United States and the President of Ukraine in which the President, our President, sacrificed our national security and our Constitution for his personal political benefit. To understand how he did so, we must first understand just how overwhelmingly dependent Ukraine is on the United States, militarily, financially, diplomatically, and in every other way. And not just on the United States, but on the person of the president. Ukraine was invaded by its neighbor, by our common adversary, by Vladimir Putin's Russia. It remains occupied by Russian irregular forces in a long simmering war. Ukraine desperately needs our help, and for years we have given it, and on a bipartisan basis. That is until 2 months ago, when it was held up inexplicably by President Trump. It is in this context, after a brief congratulatory call from President Trump to President Zelensky on April 21st, and after the president's personal emissary, Rudy Giuliani, made it abundantly clear to Ukrainian officials over several months that the president wanted dirt on his political opponent, it is in this context.
There's a reason the kettle chips are so good at Meijer.
That the new president of Ukraine would speak to Donald Trump over the phone on July 25th. President Zelensky, eager to establish himself at home as a friend of the president of the most powerful nation on earth, had at least two objectives: get a meeting with the president and get more military help. And so what happened on that call? Zelensky begins by ingratiating himself, and he tries to enlist the support of the president. He expresses his interest in meeting with the president and says his country wants to acquire more weapons from us to defend itself. And what is the president's response? Well, it reads like a classic organized crime shakedown. Shorn of its rambling character and in not so many words, this is the essence of what the president communicates. We've been very good to your country, very good. No other country has done as much as we have. But you know what? I don't see much reciprocity here. I hear what you want. I have a favor I want from you, though. And I'm going to say this only 7 times, so you better listen good. I want you to make up dirt on my political opponent, understand lots of it. On this and on that. I'm going to put you in touch with people, and not just any people. I'm going to put you in touch with Attorney General of the United States, my Attorney General, Bill Barr. He's got the whole weight of the American law enforcement behind him. And I'm going to put you in touch with Rudy. You're going to love him, trust me. You know what I'm asking, and so I'm only going to say this a few more times, in a few more ways. And by the way, don't call me again. I'll call you when you've done what I asked. This is, in character, what the president was trying to communicate with the president of Ukraine. It would be funny if it wasn't such a graphic betrayal of the president's oath of office. But as it does represent a real betrayal, there's nothing the president says here that is in America's interest, after all. It is instead the most consequential form of tragedy. For it forces us to confront the remedy the founders provided for such a flagrant abuse of office: impeachment. Now, this matter would not have come to the attention of our committee or the nation's attention without the courage of a single person, the whistleblower. As you know, Director McGuire, more so than perhaps any other area of government since we deal with classified information, the Intelligence Committee is dependent on whistleblowers to reveal wrongdoing when it occurs, when the agencies do not self-report, because outside parties are not allowed to scrutinize your work and to guide us. If that system is allowed to break down, as it did here, if whistleblowers come to understand that they will not be protected, one of 2 things happen. Serious wrongdoing goes unreported, or whistleblowers take matters into their own hands and divulge classified information to the press in violation of the law and placing our national security at risk. This is why the whistleblower system is so vital to us, and why your handling of this urgent complaint is also so troubling. Today we can say for the first time since we have released this morning the whistleblower complaint that you have marked unclassified.